The most dangerous thing that can happen to you isn't failure, it's comfort. The moment you stop being hungry is the moment your growth quietly stops, even if nobody around you notices for years. Ask yourself honestly, are you still hungry, or have you gotten comfortable with good enough? Comfortable with the body you have, comfortable with the income you have, comfortable with the relationships you have, even the ones that don't push you to be better. Psychological research on achievement motivation shows that sustained success is driven less by talent and more by an enduring dissatisfaction with the current level. A hunger that doesn't turn off just because you've had one good result. Comfort is seductive precisely because it doesn't announce itself as dangerous. It feels like relief, like a reward you've earned but left unchecked. That relief quietly calcifies into a ceiling you never intended to accept. The scariest part is that you can be objectively doing well, better than most people around you, and still be sliding into complacency simply because you stopped comparing yourself to your own potential and started comparing yourself only to people who are doing worse. So take an honest inventory today. Where is good enough quietly replace the hunger you used to have? That's exactly where your next real growth is waiting. Ronaldo, despite winning nearly everything possible in football, has repeatedly described training like a man with nothing yet accomplished. That hunger, sustained across 2 decades, is precisely why he's still competing at the top. When most of his peers retired years ago, Elon Musk's companies have operated on a similar hunger, an internal standard that treats every achievement as the baseline for the next target, not a finish line to relax at. Hunger isn't about being ungrateful for what you have. It's about refusing to let gratitude turn into complacency. You can appreciate your progress and still want more, both at the same time. This kind of sustained hunger requires a specific mental discipline, separating the achievement from the identity. If your entire sense of self depends on the last win, you'll naturally protect it by playing safe rather than continuing to mend. Push. The people who stay hungry the longest have detached their self-worth from any single accomplishment. Each win is celebrated, then set down, and the hunger for the next challenge takes its place almost immediately. This isn't a flaw or an inability to enjoy success. It's a deliberate choice to treat every accomplishment as a stepping stone rather than a final destination, which is exactly what keeps the growth continuing long after most people would have stopped. Notice the pace quickening because hunger demands motion. Today, you don't get to coast on yesterday's win. You don't get to point at last month's progress as an excuse to ease off. Now, the hungry mindset shows up in the extra hour of work when you could have stopped. It shows up in the rep you add when the set is technically over. It shows up in the follow-up message you send instead of assuming the opportunity is dead. Complacency is quiet. It doesn't announce itself. It just slowly convinces you that where you are is where you should stay. Feeding this fire requires intentional friction, deliberately choosing the slightly harder path, even when the easier one would be perfectly acceptable to everyone around you. Nobody would blame you for stopping at acceptable, not. Hungry people push past it anyway. Think of hunger as a fire that needs fuel constantly, not occasionally. A single motivated burst doesn't sustain it. What sustains it is a daily habit of seeking the next edge, the next slight improvement, the next uncomfortable stretch beyond where you currently sit. The good news is that hunger, unlike motivation, can be rebuilt through action even when it's temporarily absent. Act hungry today, regardless of how you feel. And the feeling of hunger often follows the action rather than preceding it. So decide right now, are you gonna stay hungry or are you gonna let comfort quietly steal the next 5 years of your life? Because that's the real trade being made every time you accept good enough. The hungriest people in any room aren't the loudest. They're the ones still working after everyone else has decided they've done enough. They're the ones who treat every win as a starting point, not a reward to relax into. stay hungry, not because you're ungrateful, because you know exactly how much more is possible and you refuse to leave it on the table. Staying starving doesn't mean living in constant dissatisfaction or refusing to acknowledge progress. It means holding two things at once: genuine gratitude for how far you've come, and an undiminished appetite for how much further you can still go. The 5 years that pass while you're comfortable will pass. Regardless of what you decide today, the only variable is whether you spend them growing or maintaining. Both options cost the same amount of time. Only one of them compounds into something greater. So choose growth, stay hungry, starting with the very next opportunity in front of you, and let that hunger be the quiet engine that keeps building your life long after everyone else is settled.